What if I told you that the most powerful weapon in global finance isn't the dollar, isn't oil, isn't even technology, but something ancient, silent, and locked away underground? Right now, deep beneath cities you've heard of, and some you haven't, massive vaults guard stacks of gold bars, each bar weighing about 12.4 kilograms, each one stamped, numbered, and obsessively tracked. These bars don't glitter on stock exchanges. They don't trend on social media. But they quietly decide which countries survive financial storms and which collapse when crises hit. Here's the mystery. If gold no longer backs our money, why are nations still racing to hoard it? And why are some countries secretly increasing their gold reserves, while others are quietly losing control? To answer that, we have to follow gold's journey not as jewelry, not as treasure, but as power. Welcome to its financial history too. For thousands of years, gold was not just valuable. It was money itself. Ancient civilizations understood something modern societies often forget. Gold did not need permission to hold value. In ancient Egypt, gold symbolized divine power and economic stability. In Rome, soldiers were paid in gold coins, and the strength of the empire rose and fell with the purity of its currency. Across Asia, the Middle East, and Europe, gold became the universal language of wealth long before modern banks existed. As empires grew and trade expanded, gold naturally became the anchor of trust. When you accepted gold, you didn't need to trust a king, a government, or a promise written on paper. You trusted the metal itself. This idea shaped the foundations of global finance well into the modern era. By the 19th century, the world formalized this trust through the gold standard. National currencies were directly tied to physical gold stored in government vaults. If you held paper money, you could exchange it for gold at a fixed rate. This system forced discipline. Governments could not endlessly print money without risking a loss of gold reserves. Every major decision, war, infrastructure, social programs had a real cost. But discipline creates limits, and limits create pressure. As industrialization accelerated and global competition intensified, governments wanted more freedom than gold allowed. That pressure exploded with the arrival of World War I. Nations abandoned the gold standard almost overnight to finance massive military campaigns. Gold reserves drained, currencies weakened, and inflation surged. When the war ended, attempts to return to the old system failed. The damage to trust was already done. The true reshaping of gold's role came after World War II. Europe was devastated. Industries were destroyed, currencies were weak, and trust was fragile. Gold flowed toward the one country that emerged stronger than all others: the United States. By the mid-20th century, America held an overwhelming share of the world's gold, over 20,000 tons at its peak. This concentration of gold gave the United States unmatched financial influence. In 1944, global leaders designed a new system where the US dollar was backed by gold, and all other major currencies were tied to the dollar. The world trusted American money because it trusted American gold. Gold reserves were no longer just economic assets. They were geopolitical weapons. Countries like Germany, France, and Italy rebuilt their gold holdings as their economies recovered. Gold became the foundation of post-war stability. But this system carried a dangerous contradiction. The more dollars the US printed to support global trade, military presence, and domestic spending, the harder it became to back those dollars with gold. By the 1960s, foreign governments started to notice the imbalance. The US was running massive deficits, while dollars flooded the global economy. Countries like France began demanding gold instead of dollars. Slowly, the gold began leaving American vaults. Then came the moment that changed everything. In 1971, President Richard Nixon ended the direct link between the dollar and gold. Overnight, the world entered the age of fiat money currency, backed not by metal, but by government authority and trust. Many believe this marked the end of gold's importance. Prices soared, volatility increased, and paper money dominated financial systems. Yet behind the scenes, something unexpected happened. Central banks never abandoned gold. They kept holding it, counting it, and guarding it. Today, the numbers tell a revealing story. The United States still holds over 8,100 tons of gold, the largest reserve in the world. Germany follows with more than 3,300 tons. Italy and France each hold over 2,400 tons. Russia and China, despite political tensions with the West, hold more than 2,000 tons each, and many analysts believe China's true holdings are far higher than officially reported. This raises an uncomfortable question. If gold is obsolete, why do governments refuse to let it go? The answer lies in what gold does not depend on. Gold has no counterparty risk. It cannot be frozen by foreign governments. It cannot be erased by sanctions. It does not rely on another country's political stability or monetary policy. In times of crisis, gold becomes neutral ground. That reality became painfully clear in the 21st century. The 2008 financial crisis shattered trust in banks and paper assets. Massive money printing followed. During the COVID era, trillions of new dollars, euros, and yen entered the system. Inflation surged and debt reached historic levels. At the same time, geopolitical tensions escalated. Sanctions became financial weapons, assets were frozen, trade systems were disrupted, and quietly central banks began buying gold at the fastest pace in decades. Russia increased its gold reserves to reduce reliance on the dollar. China steadily accumulated gold while promoting alternatives to Western financial systems. Turkey, India, and other emerging economies followed similar paths. Even Western nations began repatriating gold, bringing it back from foreign vaults into domestic storage. These moves were not symbolic. They were strategic. History shows a repeating pattern. When confidence in paper money is high, gold fades into the background. Governments borrow more, spend more, and promise more. Eventually, reality catches up. Crises expose the weaknesses. Trust erodes. And gold quietly returns to relevance. We are seeing that pattern again today. Gold reserves by country are not random statistics. They are signals. They reveal how much confidence governments truly have in the global financial system. Countries increasing their gold reserves are preparing for uncertainty. Countries standing still are betting on stability. The lesson here is uncomfortable but clear. Gold never lost its role. It simply went quiet while the world experimented with trust-based systems. And every time those systems are tested, gold is still there waiting. There are 3 key takeaways from this story. First, gold is not a relic of the past. It is financial insurance at the highest level. Nations do not hoard thousands of tons without reason. Second, official data only shows part of the picture. The most important gold movements happen quietly, long before crises become visible. Third, history repeats itself because human behavior does not change. When trust weakens, gold regains importance. The warning is simple. When financial systems strain, the assets that survive are not promises. They are realities. Gold does not depend on belief. It depends on existence. So the next time someone says gold no longer matters, remember this. The world's most powerful countries disagree, and they are proving it ton by ton. If this deep dive changed how you see money and power, make sure to like the video so others can find it. Subscribe for more stories that uncover what's hidden beneath global systems. And leave a comment sharing which country you think is best prepared for the next financial shock. Because the future of money is already being written quietly behind vault doors.